Hi, I'm Jackie Rabbit. Today I'm going to talk to you about something really serious. Coming out to your spouse. What it's like. What the risk is. And what your future might hold. I know how this goes and I know you're scared. Believe me. Remember, go give me a thumbs up. Go subscribe and click the bell so you know when I'm going to post the next video. Let's go talk about how this difficult process of coming out to one's spouse might fold, unfold, and move along in your life path. Come on, let's go talk about it. This might be the most difficult topic we ever encounter. And I've been thinking about it for a long time. It's been a while since I posted. And this has been on my mind since the last video. And yeah, it's really a tough one. And it was not easy for me. Not everybody's results are the same. And we have a lot of the same fears. We just don't all have the same outcome. Now, coming out to your spouse is important in the very beginning. Because if you don't, and you let time slide by while you are transitioning, you may have made the biggest mistake possible if you intend to keep your marriage. Now I know this video is kind of geared toward the new girls. And I think most of my videos are. I'm trying to share with you so you see where you go. I'm trying to show the path a little, like just right down here at the end of this road where the Wayne Manor cave is and we might have to get out of the way if the Batmobile comes flying through. That's not really the path, is it? It's not fictional. It's not funny. It's really tough when we're talking about a spouse. Now, last time I discussed how there really is very little support for a spouse of someone in transition, and I still maintain that. What you do find out there, even when it seems a little positive, if you read it, sometimes the article on it or the video on it is actually quite negative or casts some really big negative fears. And the thing that I've found, and the thing that my spouse had found, was that most of them simply tell you to run. Run now. They worry about being blamed for your transition, somehow culpable for your inability to remain who you were. It's all ridiculous. I realize that. And your spouse has to deal with that kind of rejection just like you do in transition. Oh my gosh, it's raining. So let's take this conversation a little over to the other side and continue talking about it. Your spouse has to deal with the possible rejection just like you do, but in a different way. They are often seen as some kind of a liability against your transition. Why weren't they enough to keep it from happening? Or on the other side of the coin, if they make a decision that that's not what they want in their life and in their marriage, then they're the bad guy. They're the bad person for not accepting you. That's not fair either. They're in a tough spot. They really are. But we discovered and discussed some of those things last time. So I'm going to focus on you now, because I know you're worried. If you're in the beginning of this, and this is your biggest fear, I understand. Let's talk about it. If you hide things and start transition, and then later tell your spouse, you probably should plan to change your life to include the two of you being separated and divorced. I'm not saying that's an absolute, but in my personal experience, I think it's highly likely. Now, my spouse did something some do, not many. And I do believe she did it knowing what she was doing. She kind of ran the bad lassie routine, and I didn't see it. Do you know what the bad lassie routine is? Of course you do. You're my age. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But she made a decision for me that I was incapable of making. Did her best for us to amicably end our marriage. Even if things went slewing sideways, we managed to gather ourselves back together and get things done and move forward with our lives independently. That gift gave me my freedom, and that gift cost her a supportive spouse. That's a big deal. Now, I don't know what your spouse is like. I don't know if they're strong and controlling or look to you for every little thing and all the decisions. But they probably never envisioned you needing to transition in the course of their marriage to you. Now, some will be accepting. And if you go slow, take it easy, explain right from the beginning, and have a good, solid foundation with which to build upon, which is very important in any marriage, I think you've got a chance. Now I'm going to speak to the rest of you. It's not the end of the world if your marriage ends. If your spouse needs distance from your transition for any number of reasons, which could be personal to them, that's okay. I've seen people comment and say that they've often heard that they should prepare to lose everything to transition. I don't believe that's entirely true, but there's a grain of truth with that statement. You should be prepared to build a new life for who you are. You should be prepared to let go of things that no longer are part of you. Now, your core is still you, but you don't need to drag your baggage along if you don't want to. This trip could be a one-way ticket to a new life. Now, that's going to take a lot of work. And for some of us, it's almost a survival trip to the mountains. Rather spiritual at times. So, this all depends on what you're willing to do to achieve you. Now, there's something I really want you to do. Contemplate this from the viewpoint of your spouse. Your spouse has come to you. Your spouse has said, "Honey, I have got to tell you something that I should have told you long ago. And it's taken me all this time to build enough courage to even come to this point in my life. I need to transition. It's not a want, but a need, and I want to explain to you why." That would cause you to reel mentally 100 feet, if not more. I know that this might be a hard thing for you to think of because you're already in the other side of this equation. I get it, but do your best. Try to be empathetic, because that is what we do for those we love. Give this your best opportunity to understand you will need to be patient. You will need to exercise kindness and tough decision making. It's not just for you, it's for them too. You care about this person, so even if they need you to end a marriage and move on, you need to do it gracefully. Really exercise patience, exercise kindness. You can care for that person outside of the marriage. Believe me, you can. You can still support them. If you're really lucky, you'll be friends with them. And that's how you move on outside of a marriage after transition. If you create an enemy and it comes to yelling, screaming, and real unkind things, you're doing yourself a disfavor and you're really hurting someone you care about unnecessarily. So please hear me when I say be kind, think things through, and be patient. And in turn, you might get that back. And if you don't, it's not going to do anyone any good for you to react to the situation poorly. There's the difference between reacting and responding. It's up to you now, with the upper hand of knowledge, knowing where you're going, to respond kindly. Enough of me preaching on that. I know that you're scared. You're worried that you're going to lose everything. Now, in my experience, many things have been removed from my life that I wish were not. But it's not that they cannot be altered or regained. And some things I don't want back. So there are many things you're going to have to do while it occurs. You're never going to be able to figure this out in advance. Do not get analysis paralysis. It's warrior time. You must be stoic. You must really think about what your future might hold and look at the positive aspects of what you can achieve with a new life. If you were able to completely envision the new you, the you should be, and the life that she should have, what would that be? Would it have drug along everything you've been dragging behind you your whole life? Or would she be a much better person than you are now? So I want you to do something. I want you to repeat after me. I know this is mostly for the new girls, but I think that's who's watching right now. And I get you. So I want you to repeat after me. Now I want you to use your name, your new name, your female name, the name who you are when we use the pronoun she. Okay? So repeat after me. She does not need to drag your baggage through the rest of her life. Oh, come on now. Don't stare at me. You're going to regret this if you don't do it, so let's try it again. She doesn't need to be haunted by his past, his baggage. Try it. All right. You understand where this is going, okay? And for those of you who actually did repeat after me, I'm proud of you. And I want to tell you something. You're on your way. You are really on your way. You've got the strength. You can do this. It's going to make a big difference in your life if you bring forward the best of yourself and make all of the difficult choices that are ahead of you. You can do this. Trust me, I've done it, and I'm the world's biggest chicken. Seriously. Keep going, one foot in front of the other. Now, I'm going to do this one last time. For those of you who wish that you had actually repeated the words and didn't, you've got one last chance here, girl. Try it one last time with me, okay? Use your name. She doesn't need to be haunted by your past. Those words are spoken to you, for you, by you. Now, you can do it. Tell your spouse and make sure you've got a therapist on board for you, and if you can, get one for your spouse independently as well. This is tough for both of you. And move forward the best you can. If the dissolution of marriage is in the cards, it's not the end of the world. Or as one commenter put, it's not the end of the world, but you can see it from here. So, the view isn't bad. It's just the journey to get you there that sometimes wears you down. The destination will feel good. Remember, if you need to talk to somebody who's been through this, and I've gotten lots and lots of my friends there throughout the entire process giving me advice just like this, go to transgenderpulse.com. Talk to the people there, especially the moderators. They really, really are wise women and know what you're going through. Take care of yourself and know that I truly care. I know this was a tough topic. And for those of you who made it all the way to the end, I'm proud of you. You are on your way. And for those of you who have been through this and understand and are nodding in agreement or shaking your head going, no, that's not right at all, Jackie, I'm glad you came along and you understood some of my words. Do your best to help one of the other girls if you can. Make comments. Go scroll down. See if you can find where they're asking questions that maybe are a different viewpoint than my own, and help them out. Take care of yourself. Hey, go give me a thumbs up. And remember, subscribe. Subscribe and click the bell. I have a surgery coming up in about 2 months. Bottom surgery. I will do everything I can to let you know what that's like and show you just how it feels. Take care of yourself. I'll see you next time. Bye. Early on, I used to whine to my wife, oh my gosh, I'm going to make such an ugly girl. And she'd say, oh honey, don't worry. Makeup will be your friend. She was right. Hi, I'm Jackie Rabbit. Today I'm going to talk about something that's incredibly important. The mosquito on my nose.